Welcome to a brief tutorial of a great AI powered tool called NotebookLM. This is powered by Google. All you gotta do here is go to notebooklm.google.com and hit try NotebookLM. Now, looking at mine, I obviously have a whole bunch of notebooks already created because I use this tool a lot. It is a great tool for taking a lot of content, taking a lot of raw data, and really analyzing it well. So, if you go into recent notebooks, you can see I have a variety of things here. But if I wanted to start from scratch, I'd go over here to create a new notebook. Now, what it's going to ask you to do is upload sources from your computer. This could be a lot of different things. This supports things from your drive, links, websites, YouTube videos. You can actually just paste text here, or you can upload sources like a PDF. So imagine you wanted to learn about thinking skills from Arthur Costa. What I uploaded is a PDF there. And what it does almost instantaneously, it gives you a nice little overview. And the basic features, like any other chatbot, is you can start talking to it. It gives you some possible prompts to already start you typing, or you can put in your own prompt here. So if I wanted to use this prompt, I would just click into it. And the neat part is once it scans your material, it's like you're training your own personal GPT, generative pre-trained transformer. And what it does is it breaks down that question into its core elements. So you can now look at them as if you searched it yourself. So the question was, how can educators effectively integrate Costa's 5 thinking skills into curriculum design? And let's say it gives you a blurb here. You can actually go back into the original source material and it will cite exactly where it found. So unlike other generative AI models where they may be making things up, this really roots into something concrete where you can prove where you got it from. And you can ask any kind of question, but that is just where the fun begins. Now, if there is something that you'd like to keep, it doesn't automatically save all these generations. So if you wanted to hold on to this generation, or if you like this generation, you're going to have to make it into a note. So right here at the very bottom, if you wanted to make this part of the training data, make sure you save the note, because it's not like a ChatGPT or a Gemini where it'll record your entire conversation. This one, you literally have to hit save the note and it will generate that note and it'll end up over here. So the more things that you create with it, the more notes you can add, the deeper the learning occurs. Now, some of the other awesome features, which are really amazing here, are these over here in Studio. So I'm going to go through each of these individually, and then we're going to come back when they're loaded. So I'm going to load an audio note here. All right, so you can customize how you want it. You can make the deep dive, brief critique. I'm going to do the deep dive here. So this will take a couple minutes, so I'll come back after this generates. Now you can also create a video. You can choose the language. You can make it brief. I'll do a brief one for this one. You can go to the classic style. You can make it a whiteboard video. I like those a lot. All right, what do you want to focus on? So I want to focus on the 5 themes. All right. If I could spell, that'd be great. EMES. Good. All right. So I'm going to generate that. Then I'm going to go over here and I can create a mind map. That does it pretty quick. I'm going to generate some flashcards for a review, own little quiz. I can now generate an infographic based upon my sources, and I can actually generate a slide deck. So I'll be back once these things are loaded, and we'll go through each of these. Oops, I almost forgot one of these features, which is reports. Now, the neat part is when you create a report, you can create your own report based upon your custom needs that you want. There's a briefing document as well. You can break down a study guide, blog post, all kinds of cool stuff. For the purposes, I'm going to click on study guide and it'll generate a study guide for me. So I'll show you what that looks like after I already generated it. So here's the study guide from that one. So if I pop this out, you can take a look at this really good. It'll provide you quiz questions, and it also provides you the answer keys. You can kind of read through it yourself, see if you got it correct. On any material that you pop in there, it'll create a custom study guide for you, which is an awesome thing. Now let's take a look at some of the other things that it generated for us. So this is a video overview. So what this did is it took the entire content from the uploaded PDF and it created a custom video with audio. So I'll play it for a little bit so you can hear and see some of the quality here that it generates. Now, if I jump ahead here, you can see all the artwork is created by Nano Banana, their Flash 2.5 model. So the artwork gives you kind of that whiteboard feel to it. It breaks down each of the parts. And usually these videos are pretty good here. As you go through these, you can see all the different artwork that it generates. And obviously, if I let go, it'll play. So that's a pretty cool way to review content in a visual way. All right, what else did it make here? So let's go down to Oh, they created an infographic. So I gave it the topic, and look at this amazing infographic. It took the 5 themes of a thoughtful curriculum, broke it down with images and writing as well, which is pretty wild to do here. So that's pretty cool, and I can share and use that as needed. So let's take a look at some of those stuff here. So what's pretty neat here is it also created an interactive podcast. So this is called the deep dive, and the neat part about deep dive is you can do this interactive mode, which is pretty wild. Now, with the interactive mode, I can play the podcast and then join in like I'm a caller on a TV show. So let's try this out. And they would go through all of them in detail, and you can keep interrupting them. They don't get upset with you. You can jump in any point you don't understand. And this can take such extreme content. Like I've looked at like biology, some really deep LLM design models, and they can break the most complicated information down into easy to understand podcasts where they have a deep conversation about that with those same 2 hosts. So that's a pretty neat tool that you can now interact with in real time. What else did this make for me? All right. So this created a quiz, and these quiz questions that you can jump through here. You answer the questions. I'm not really looking. Let's say I did both. Hey, I got that right. And you go through and give you feedback on how well you did. So it created a custom quiz based upon the content. I can quiz myself. Continuing on, it created some flashcards that I can flip over to see the answer. It created 34. And the amount of cards it creates is dependent upon how much or how many resources or sources you put into NotebookLM. What else did it do for me? It created a mind map, and the mind map can break down the major themes. So let's say I want to learn more about theme 1, learning to think. It'll read through the papers. It'll break it down a little farther. And now let's say I want to jump into skillful thinking. It will go even farther than skillful thinking. It will actually cite where it finds information on that topic. So you can get to the granular level of any large idea, it breaks it down into its smaller pieces and then into the actual details that I can click on and go even deeper into, which is very, very useful for understanding content of any kind. All right, that's cool. But what else does it make for me? I think one of the coolest parts of this is that you can create your own custom slide deck. So let's take a look at this a little bit deeper here. So what this did is build out, based upon the content, a custom slide deck that includes all the notes, all the information, breaks down with images and text, the entire presentation. And it's usually really, really good content. So you could vote on it based upon what you want. And the cool part is you can download it. It will download as a PDF that you can now upload and back into, let's say, Google Slides, and then edit it how you want. So this is next level. Generates the entire presentation on anything you put into it, which is awesome. So there are some limits when it comes to how much stuff, when it comes to the sources that you can add. And obviously you can add sources here as well. It can take up to 50 sources, 50 PDFs, 50 links, 50 YouTube videos. And the way that it really makes it powerful is that each of these sources has a token limit. Now, what does a token mean? It's about 0.75 uh, 0.75 words, which is about 4 characters, but it allows you to have up to 500,000 of those tokens per source. And there's a hack, because a lot of these PDFs that you put in here are nowhere near 500,000 tokens. So if you can combine PDFs, you can actually get more than 50 if you're smart about how you arrange all the documents. It doesn't look at them as being anything but information and content that it will rip apart anyway. And the most powerful part is it could take large amounts of data and it can rip it apart in speeds impossible for humans to do. It can make connections between the data. So let's say you want to take an entire author's work and put it all in there. You want to take all of the research on one topic, put it in there. You want to take a bunch of historical documents, put it in there. You want to take a whole new curriculum and all the supplementary materials, put it in there. And then you can make all the connections to your work and talk to it as if, you were having an interactive conversation with them. Don't forget to use the save the note once you generate something, or it will forget it the next time you come in, but it will remember all the things that you built in the studio over here. It will save it over on this side. So hopefully you enjoyed this quick tutorial of NotebookLM. Until next time, check it out and get started.